So it's the 8th and final day of the inauguration of the Mishkan, the tabernacle. The sacrifices have been brought. God has accepted them, and then tragedy strikes. 2 sons of Aaron, Nadav and Avihu, decide to bring an unauthorized offering, and a fire comes down from heaven and kills them. Moshe steps in to console his brother Aaron, and then Moshe sees that one of the sacrifices that he had commanded to be eaten was burnt. And so he flashes anger at Aaron's 2 remaining sons, berates them, wants to know, why did you burn it when I said to eat it? Aaron steps in front of them and says, it was me, not them, explains why he did that, and Moshe accepts his explanation. But one commentator points out, this isn't such a good look for Moshe. Granted, it must be very important. Moshe's getting angry. But now, couldn't he pick a different time, any other time, to berate and chastise them? They just lost their 2 brothers. And as commentator explains, this is not Moshe at his worst. It's Moshe at his best. Here's what's going on. One of the sacrifices that was brought that day was brought to atone for the prior, long ago sin of the brothers having sold Yosef. What was the underlying mistake? They didn't seek rabbinic guidance. They should have sat down with their father, Yaakov, the greatest sage of the generation, shared their concerns with him, and he would have told them that they're making a huge mistake. Fast forward, another sacrifice being brought that day is to atone for the sin of the golden calf. Same underlying problem. When they think Moshe's not coming down from the mountain, they should have sought guidance from Aaron, sat down with him, and he would explain to them what to do and what not to do. Instead, they don't consult him, and they build the golden calf. Nadav and Avihu have a great idea. Let's bring an extra offering to God. They don't consult their rabbis, Moshe and Aaron. If they had, they would have been told, no, you cannot bring an unauthorized offering. And now Moshe sees Aaron's 2 remaining sons, thinks that they've burnt a sacrifice that should have been eaten. He thinks they're making the exact same mistake. They didn't seek his counsel or their father's counsel. They didn't seek rabbinic guidance. And so he flashes anger, not to berate them, but to save them. They could end up losing their lives. And so we see from here how important it is to always seek rabbinic guidance, not just the obvious questions. Rabbi, I dropped the dairy knife into a pot that had hot meat in it. What do I do? But the less obvious questions, the work-related questions. If you're in a profession, any profession, and you don't have a rabbi on speed dial, that's a problem, because in every profession, there are constantly questions. Questions about interest, questions about paying employees and creditors, questions about concealment, disclosure, negotiation, litigation. You have to always be asking those questions. And there's another lesson buried in here. Another commentator says that a rabbi who never shows anger at his students or his congregants isn't doing his job, because a rabbi can't make every point only using a sigh or a finger wag. Sometimes you have to show anger. And that's why at the very end of the Torah, we get this message. The last thing we get in the Torah is a description of the strong hand and the wonders that Moshe showed in front of the eyes of the Jewish people, which the commentators explain refers to the fact that he broke the tablets in front of them. He got the news of the golden calf when he was still up in the mountain. He could have broken the tablets then and come down and told them that he had done that. Instead, he brings them down and with everyone watching, lifts them up and slams them to the ground. Because telling them the message wasn't enough. He had to show them to make it more powerful.